What's up everyone? As I begin this review, let's get something out of the way first and foremost. This is not a new video game. Overwatch 2 is only a sequel in the sense that there's a 2 in the title. Besides that, there are only minor changes and additions from the original game. I personally don't have a problem with this since the game is free to play, but I feel like they didn't have to add the 2 regardless. This game is literally built on top of the code of the original game, so much so that when you're playing it on certain platforms, your profile still shows as playing the original game. So now that we've addressed the fact that this is more of an update than a sequel, let's talk about the good and the bad. One of the most notable changes is the fact that the game is now 5v5 instead of 6v6. As someone who didn't put much time into Overwatch originally, I don't have a ton of experience in which to compare this to, but I will say that 5v5 is plenty of fun and still has more than enough action to keep the game interesting. There are some dead moments when you die and have to walk back to the action from spawn, or when the enemies are doing the same, but using that time to your advantage is part of the strategy, so I can't complain too much. I tested several heroes in each class and I found that I could be successful and have fun with just about any of them. How you play as an individual hero is important, but just as Overwatch has always been, the most important thing is how you play as a team. This game emphasizes teamwork like few others in the shooter space, and it ends up being a lot of fun because of it. It can be frustrating if you get matched with some bad teammates, but when you get good ones, you have the option to vote to stick with them for the next match, which helps eliminate that problem, especially if you're solo queuing. There are 2 main types of queues, one where you select your role beforehand and are placed on a team that needs that role, and another queue where everyone can pick whichever role they please. In the open role queue, a lot of people tend to pick a damage class character, so you may find yourself short on healers or tanks from time to time, but oftentimes people are smart enough to know that they need those roles in order to win. The moment-to-moment gameplay is frantic. There's not many games these days that test my hand-eye coordination, since I've been gaming for practically my entire life, but Overwatch pushes the limits of what I'm capable of. This is due to the sheer amount of abilities that each hero possesses. Learning to chain these abilities together quickly and effectively in the heat of battle is key to success, and you get better with each hero the more that you use them. The aiming and gunplay feels tight and responsive. The health and balance seems to be pretty good right now in my opinion. I don't feel like any character has a super unfair advantage, they're all perfectly usable. The game modes and maps are pretty much the same from the original game as of right now. You have Escort, where the attacking team needs to push the payload across the map by actively controlling the area around it, and the defending team needs to stop them. Then there's Control, where both teams fight to control a zone on the map by holding the position longer than the other team. These are the 2 main modes you'll run into in quick play, but there are other modes you can try in special game mode playlists, and there's even some arcade modes and custom games if you want to have a little wackier of an experience. Sadly, I wasn't able to hop into competitive because you need to level up quite a bit to do that, and while I played several hours of the game, I still wasn't quite there. I will say that even in quick play, everyone seemed to be trying to win, and most of my games were quite competitive and pretty well fought. Finally, I want to touch on the game's Battle Pass. You get a free Battle Pass just by playing, but those rewards are honestly few and far between. The Premium Battle Pass costs $10 of in-game currency and consists of 80 levels that can be earned by both playing matches and completing challenges. The leveling has been somewhat slow in my opinion, but there are plenty of challenges to speed things up if you actively try to achieve them. Still, I think the game could benefit from speeding up progression just a little bit, especially with seasons being only 60 days. Overall, I've had a great time so far with Overwatch 2 and I don't plan to put it down anytime soon. The more I play this game, the more hooked I get. It certainly has that one more match feeling that good multiplayer games tend to give you, and I'm always having a great time when I'm in an intense battle. When you really pop off in this game, you feel that it's because of your skill with the character that you're using, because it usually is. That rush of mastering a character's abilities and really doing well is a rush like few other games in the multiplayer space can provide. I think this game will benefit greatly from going free to play, and if you have the ability to, I would highly recommend giving Overwatch 2 a go if you haven't already, especially if you enjoy fast-paced multiplayer shooters. If you have a modern console or PC, you have no excuse not to hop in for at least a few matches and see what you think. The game is literally free. Anyways, if you enjoyed this review or found it helpful or informative, please feel free to drop a like and subscribe to be able to catch my future content. And tell me in the comments below, have you enjoyed Overwatch 2 so far? Who do you main? Until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Goodbye.